This is crazy. I've been here for 9 years total as a student and as a coach, and this is my first time ever speaking in chapel, so can I at least get a hand on that? So I was thinking, what am I going to talk about? It's towards the end of the year, and I kind of was starting to reflect on when I was a student. What did I like hearing when I was in chapel? I'm not far removed from you guys. I graduated about six, 7 years ago. So I always, when I said chapel, I always wanted to hear things that were authentic, something real life stories. So this chapel speech is probably going to be more for the seniors, probably juniors. I mean, you know what, everybody. It's going to be the things they don't tell you when you graduate. The things they don't tell you when you graduate. Now, I don't know who they are necessarily, but they didn't tell me when I left this place. So, seniors, listen up. Hopefully I can help you as you go through this scary moment. Number one, it's okay to be a little afraid or nervous about what's next. By show of hands, who's a little nervous? About to graduate? Trying to figure it out. That's a real fear. That's a real fear. Where you gonna live, right? Where you gonna work? Even how you gonna eat. But I'm here to tell you, you're gonna be fine. You're not the first one that ever had these thoughts. Not gonna be the last. I'm pretty sure every faculty member in here has had this thought, okay? Number two, even if you graduate and you work in the same town as here in York, I know a lot of you guys want to be here in York with me, keeping me company. Wherever you go, you basically get to reinvent who you are, regardless of whatever mistake you may have made in college. The reputation you didn't like yourself on campus. When you go out and work, you can reinvent yourself. I heard Nick Vittorio always talk about protecting your reputation. So you get to be who you want to be and protect that reputation when you move on. Next one. Going back to being the youngest person in a place takes some time to get used to. For me, I started working in the athletic department when I was 22 years old. Now, getting a job young, that's great, but it's different. You always have your friends about your same age. Then you go to having friends 30 and 40 years older than you, like Jerry Stark and Sam Gorman. Now, that's fine. I love those guys. They're my friends, but it's different. They're old, okay? So, it's not all bad. It's not all bad. One thing for me that took me a little bit to really get used to, adjust to, is it takes a little while to get used to a world without the structure of school. Think about this. You've been in school probably K through 12. You're in college now. So 20 years, 16 to 20 years of your life, you've had structure. That's a scary thing. You always knew where you're supposed to be. You had schedules. You knew you was going to eat in the cab. You knew where you was going to live. But now when you graduate, you have to find those things. You have to pay your own rent. How am I going to eat? So that's a real thing. Start thinking about that. Oh, the best thing. Not having to do homework anymore is actually the best thing for me. I probably should say not writing papers in Miss McNee's class is actually the best thing for me. Okay? I love her to death, but I don't miss that class. I actually got a B+, so I'm kind of bragging to you guys. So I got a B+ in there. I'm excited about that. 6, you underestimate how expensive it is to be a person in this world. Okay? My advice to you, get a financial plan. Don't throw those loans away. They're not going away, okay? And I feel like it's always bills, always. I didn't even know you had to pay a bill for somebody to come pick your trash up. That's $18 a month. Throwing your trash away. So my advice to you, get a financial plan because those bills are coming. No one is watching to make sure you don't mess up or make a mistake. Here at York, we have Big Bad Mountjoy. We have Big Bad Stephen Detlef, okay? Well, Mountjoy was Big Bad guy when I was in school, okay? Luckily, I didn't ever go in his office. But when you're out in the real world, the Mountjoy, Stephen Detlef, that's the law. So make good decisions. Protect your reputation, as Nick Toro said. You'll call your support system your parents more than you ever thought. I thought when I graduated, I had it all figured out. I'm an adult now. Negative. Call her all the time. You'll even call faculty and staff members for advice, resources. So use those guys. Next one. A work day is much longer and harder than even the most jam-packed school day you can imagine. Okay, when you're out in the real world, you're working, nobody cares how tired you are. Nobody cares that you need a nap. They expect you to perform all the time. Okay? Number 10, this is a funny one. A year after graduation, just a year, you'll feel like a totally different person than you were in college. Okay? Now that's good, because that means growth. I look back at Facebook, some time hops 7, 8 years ago. I'm like, who is this guy? What did I even have on? Who do I think I was? You know? So, like I said, that's not a bad thing. That's growth. And everybody wants to grow. Now, this is by far something I had to get used to. Okay? Going back to live at home won't quite be the same when you go home for Christmas break. Okay, I'm gonna say that again. Going back home to live at home with your parents won't be quite the same as visiting home during Christmas break. For me, I'm from Louisiana, 12 hours away. When I decided to go home for Christmas break or any break, it was a holiday to my mom. She cooked me breakfast. She never cooks me breakfast, okay? She buy me food. She hasn't bought me food in 15, 20 years, okay? But, so what I'm saying, when you go home, now that honeymoon stage is over after you graduate. Okay, you have about a month or 2 grace period before they start getting pushy. And what I mean pushy, you start hearing hints like, so did you apply for that job? Did you find a place to stay? They still love you, but they just want you to get out the house. Okay? Number 12, at least for me, it's no longer possible to function on 4 hours of sleep every single night. A good night for me, I love to get in the bed about 10:30, 11. That's great. 12, you're pushing it. That's what I'm telling myself. Okay? Now, like last night, my son kept me up 3 or 4 hours, so it's probably going to be a rough day for my assistant, because I'm going to be a little grouchy. But so, you know, you can't always operate on 4 hours of sleep in the real world. Next one, praying. Praying. Praying isn't just for old people like Dennis, okay? Dennis, happy birthday, man. I love you. But seriously, find time throughout your day to pray. What I do, you know, obviously I'm a basketball coach. I like to say I'm going to take a 30-second time out just to talk with God. Take a full time out, okay? You're never too young to have a relationship with God. It's not just for old people like Dennis. It's for young people like yourselves as well. Young people like me. Young people like Leo, okay? So always find time to talk with God. Next one. If all of this stuff is too stressful, going back to college is a real thing. That's an option. If you don't have it figured out, invest in your future. Enroll in the grad school. It's real. That's a real thing. Next one. Your early to mid-20s can get lonely sometimes. Lonelier than you think. I thought, oh, I graduated, got a degree, young, 23, 22. It's going to be awesome. When you start working, actually, this is probably the most compact place you will be with hundreds of people all the time, just depending on where you work. When you're out in the real world, you're working in different communities. You're working across the world, different states. And it can be lonely sometimes. People really do go on real dates in the real world. It's not you can just go to the cab and say hey to somebody. Okay? So, last one, this was kind of off the record. This is for faculty and staff right here. That's the day. They didn't tell me this one. One day you're going to get married and you're going to start having some kiddos. You are cute little kids. They didn't tell me when you start having kids, it takes you 2 hours to get those kids ready and yourself just to go down to Walmart and back. Okay? Y'all don't understand that now, but it takes me forever to get my son and daughter ready, myself, especially my wife too, just to go to Walmart. 2 hours just to leave, not the entire trip. So that's for you guys. Last one, seriously. God never changes, guys. God never changes. He said that. Trust in Him, chase your dream, never settle, and you will be fine. Thank you guys for listening to me. Good luck on your finals. I love you guys.